My name is Grímur Hákonarson. It's based on a real story. My father told me the story some years ago. It was about there were two brothers living on the same land, and they didn't speak to each other for 40 years. And they built two houses next to each other, and there was no window facing the houses, between them. In Iceland, we actually have a lot of stories like that. It's very common that siblings or neighbors have conflicts in the countryside. I also wanted to tell the story of the connection between the farmers and the sheep. And the story RAMS is also about the connection between this animal and the people. And there's actually a lot of things in RAMS, in the script, who happened in real life, like when this disease comes up in Iceland, and how the farmers react, when they have to slaughter the sheep. That's all based on real stories. We had a little problem with snow, and the film is shot in the summer and then in the winter. And we were shooting the winter scenes in November, and we started shooting, there was a lot of snow everywhere. And then we had like the warmest November in the history of Iceland, and all the snow just disappeared. So after 1 week, everything looked like, summer again. So we ran into some problems. We had to paint in some snow afterwards, and we had to finish the shooting of the movie in January. We were shooting like the snowstorms scenes, the last scenes of the movie in January. So that was a bit
tus trailers. Visita
not funny.
mi
It was a bit hard, to postpone the shooting. We also had some funny incidents with the sheep, because sometimes the sheep didn't do what we expected them to do, and once we are trying to take like 200 sheep into a house in the middle of the summer, and the sheep doesn't want to go into the house, they want to stay outside. So the sheep kind of revolted, against us, and they kind of didn't want to go in, and they ran all over the place, and they ran down some equipment, and we had to collect the sheep. It took like 2 hours to get them back. There's also a scene in the movie. There's a funny scene in the movie when there is a sex scene in the movie. The only sex scene in the movie is like when the RAMS is having sex with the sheep, who's making the lambs, And when we were filming that scene, two lambs were, the sheep got pregnant. And we were shooting the film, the scene in November, like 1 month before one month before they actually are supposed to do it. So these lambs were born in April last year, and now we call them, they are both RAMS, and they are called Grímur and Grímar, and my producer is called Grímar. The production of the film created two lambs. They are very experienced actors, they are professional actors. They have a background in theater in Iceland. And it was a big opportunity for them to act in this movie. It's a big roles, and we don't make so many movies in Iceland per year, so they were really dedicated, and they really wanted to do it. I tried to emphasize on making them believable as farmers, because they live in the city, and they needed to get a touch of the farming life. We are good friends today. We made like a good friendship, and the reason the actors are really different characters. They are a bit like the brothers in the movie. Both they look different, and they also they're a bit different mentally also. and I think they were the right actors for the film. You know, they don't look so similar without the beard. And that was one of the reasons I made them collect the beard, because with the beard they look more like brothers. And
visita mi canal.
And I found it out because I had met the other actor when he had a beard, and then I look at some pictures of the other with a beard. So I had to think about these things when you're casting for a film, you know, and you're casting brothers or sisters. You have to think about if it's convincing that they're brothers. The valley in the north of Iceland was the main location, the farms where the story takes place, because the farms were perfect for the story, and the landscape around them is also very nice, and it's very isolated, and it's very close to the highlands, you know, which was perfect for the last part of the movie when they go to the highlands. So I was more thinking about the look of the farm, you know. I was more thinking about that than the nature. Icelandic nature is very beautiful, you know, and I think the nature is just there, and because the story, the farmers they're sheep farmers, so they are very connected to the nature, and they are always staying in the nature. So we get this landscape kind of, it's just an extra kind of eye candy for the viewer. But we are not really focusing on the nature, not consciously trying to force the nature to the audience. It's just there, you know. I like the audience I like people to think, you know, that I don't want to feed the audience too much. I don't want to over-explain everything. And the good thing about the ending is that people think about the ending the next days, you know, it stays with the people, and it's an open ending, and you don't really know what happens. But I'm really happy with the ending. I think the ending makes the film better. I think it does a lot for the movie. To win this award in Cannes, you know, Uncertain Regard was a big achievement. It was a big honor for me personally. It was also the first time Icelandic film wins in Cannes. It has done a lot for the movie, and the film has won like almost every festival. If it's in competition, it has won a prize, and it helps the film. You know, the more people are going to see it. It's been sold to the whole world almost. The good thing is that the film appeals to the film festivals, but it also appeals to the public. You know, it was very successful in Iceland in cinemas, and I think one of the reasons is that it has a humor. You know, it's not like too heavy or too sad or depressing. It has this humor as well, this kind of special Icelandic dry humor, which is a nice element. I also, one of the reasons I think the film is so successful is that it has this kind of co-human theme, you know. It's like about brothers who, it's about family conflicts, you know, and people in, you know, every country in the world, they maybe relate to that. People have similar experience. I met a guy he came to see the film in Budapest, and he looked exactly like Gummi, the main character. But he was not a farmer, but he was a professor with a lot of beard. And he hadn't spoken to his brother for 25 years because they disagreed in politics. And he was crying a lot, you know, and it was really emotional. And he decided to contact his brother, and after he saw the movie, he decided to contact his brother. And I met a couple of people who, there was one filmmaker I know. He hadn't spoken to his brother for 5 years, and I told him, yeah, you should just give him RAMS as a Christmas present, you know, send him the DVD, you know, and he's going to do that. I have an idea to make a Icelandic movie. My next movie is a rural lesbian story, and because lesbian films are they're so fashionable, they are so much in today, you know. And I'm getting some, you know, RAMS is opening a lot of doors for me to make films in English, but most of my time I'm spending on following up the RAMS and going to festivals. And but I'm happy that I at least have some idea, because if I wouldn't have any idea, it would be kind of difficult.